kindly just take your seats for a minute? I'm going to carry on with some more music, but just want to give you a wonderful welcome tonight. If you're here because this is what you do every Saturday, well, it's great to see you. And if it's your first time here, it's great to see you too. We hope you'll just feel very comfortable in our community. I love what we have as you walk in the door. And if you're here for the first time, I would just ask that before you leave, you take a read of what we call our noble house, our statement of belief in this church. And I'm not going to by any means, recite it to you, because in fact I don't know it off by heart. But there is a bit in there that I really love, and it probably just helps a little bit for any of you who are here for the first time. There's a line in there, and it says, we are people just learning to be loved by God and learning to love others the way God is loving us. And really that's the simple message really of what the Rock Church is all about. We know we're not perfect people by any means, and we know that we never can be, but we know that we have a perfect answer, we have a perfect solution, and that's in the Christ, Jesus Christ, God's Son, who was given for us. There's a statement, I read a lot of a guy called Brennan Manning. He writes some wonderful books, and he has a statement, and he says this, that you are loved unconditionally by God, not as you are, not as you ought to be. That's his statement, right? And he's been known for that statement for a very long time. He's now 77 years old. Anyway, I've just got his recent book, and what's absolutely gorgeous is saying that statement, which all his life is preached as the good news of Jesus Christ, which is, you are unconditionally loved by God, as you are, not as you should be, right? He says, that's what I've always said, but I've sunk it down to 3 words. And I think, how do you say something that's as simple as that already into 3 words? And the 3 words he now uses is this: all is grace. Oh, isn't that awesome? All is grace. So we have the best news in the world tonight. All is grace. And I don't know where you are in your life. I don't know whether you think you've done well or whether you think you've done terrible. I'm not really interested in that sense. Of course, we're interested to help you with your journey. But really, it makes no difference, because for every one of us, there's a message of good news that's coming to us tonight, and it's all is grace. Isn't that just amazing? So I hope that that's just encouraging you. I hope it makes you feel comfortable. Because when I hear words like that, I suddenly relax. Makes me relax. Because there's nothing we're wanting from you. There's nothing we're wanting to make you be. We want you just to have a message. And that is, all is grace. Isn't that just lovely? So, we're going to carry on singing. We're going to do some worship. I'm sorry if you feel that it's a bit chilly in here tonight. This building comes with an ancient, antique boiler. And if you want to go and have a look at it, I'm not kidding you, it terrifies you. It's a little bit like Home Alone. when he goes down into the basement and the boiler fires up and he thinks it's a monster. It's one of them. Well, anyway, it has a temperamental side, and sometimes it just doesn't come on. So if you're a bit chilled tonight, I'm sorry. It's one of those things. At least it's been a warmer day today. But if you're cold, well, then let the fire of God... burn inside you. How about stamping your feet, clapping your hands, or just letting what I've just said, those 3 words, somehow igniting you something incredible. You can have an epiphany tonight. All is grace. So we're going to stand up and we're going to sing All Majesty. You can't have a better anthem than that. So join with us. Let's really raise the roof with this as we carry on. And like I say, be blessed tonight, because, like I say, we only want to give you the best news in the world, and that's all His grace, okay? Let's take it away.
Rising I just want to share to you a little bit tonight about love, life, and other mysteries. I'd love to be able to stand here and say that I've got everything wrapped up and my house is perfectly clean, and I click my fingers and Mary Poppins style, everything comes together for me, and everything I touch is gold, and all my plans come to order, and everything's working together. But you know what? We've just sung that song, and what would we know of the grace of God if it was just like that? We wouldn't, would we? If we haven't got a story to tell, we wouldn't know what the power and majesty and the magnificence and the difference that the glory of God can make to us. I was just thinking, about life's little commentaries, and I just want to take a really, really small chapter from the great and glorious book of The Simpsons. It's just a very, very short excerpt, so if you're going to shuffle now, because it's really small, but it's just a little commentary on life that I looked and thought, I know about that. Are you ready, Robert?
There's a little present for you lying in the driveway. Oh, boy, really? I wasted $5 on these.
Can anybody relate to that at all? Oh, bless. We know life isn't really quite fair, don't we? But, I'm really grateful that we're in a house where we can just be open and honest about the journey on. We're not perfect, we're not getting stuff right, but we've got a God who is so faithful, and is so leading us and taking us to bring his life and his power into our everyday existence. And we've had such great words in this house about knowing that the course of our life is not determined about the circumstances that we face, but about the choices that we make. And really, sometimes I think we make right and wrong choices, but really what it means is it's about what do we believe about ourselves. And what we believe ourselves depends on what we believe about God. Said it. But yeah, what we believe about God. And depending on our response to those two things, which really is one thing, what we believe about God, is whether stuff that happens to us brings us to life because it's his life, or whether it just eats us inside and brings us into death. I just very quickly want to tell you a little story. It's about a young girl, and she had two brothers, and they were a happy family, and probably wouldn't have admitted it at the time, but they were very loving brothers, and they looked out for her, and they're always there for her. But her expectations at that time would have been that would carry on and be the case. We all have little snapshots in our life where things seem perfect, don't we? Well, I'm going to jump lots and lots and lots of chapters, and you probably guessed the little girl was me, who's no longer a little girl, although one does one's best. The chapters are chapters of joy, the chapters of sadness, the chapters in which I have known God's faithfulness, walking right through it. Sometimes I've acknowledged it and known it, and sometimes God's gone unannounced because I haven't given him the glory. But God's there, God's faithful regardless of what we're going through. And bringing it right to present day, I've got one brother, Chris, who's got severe MS at this stage. God's grace has been on his life and bringing him through. We continue to pray for him. We delighted that we can see, he listens to some of the words of the house, that we can see God's presence in his life, in amongst all the pain and all the suffering, all the stuff that he can't do for himself. And I would long for that fantastic miracle of healing. But you know what? There's a bigger miracle going on there, and that's just seeing how God's grace can meet in that life, how the love of a mother connected to the love of a father and a family can just give glory to God in the midst of all that. In it we just have to surrender to the mystery of what we don't get, and what we do get is knowing God's faithfulness. Meanwhile, the other brother, he's at the other side of the world. He's in New Zealand, and he's living the dream. Complete contrast. He's living in a fabulous house, and I have to say, even in the middle of winter, he's telling me that his garden's full of orchids. I mean, how unfair is that? This great and glorious land of England where there's lots and lots of rain and grass, because it rains a lot. But, you know, he's invested a huge part of his life, his finances, his current energy into that property. And even in the midst of all that tranquility, I know you'll have all heard about the earthquakes and stuff. They're much further up than that, and they got away with all of that. That was fantastic. But they had 3 days of cyclones, and that was sustained rain that was just relentlessly bashing away. And they have a very narrow drive that takes them to their beautiful house, which is over the Bay of Islands, looking over the sea. And the outcome of all this rain was a chunk of the driveway just slipped and fell down into a huge thing, which, you know, if you think of it in terms of everything that was his dream that he was wanting to access, the only path to it has just dropped from beneath your feet. And, you know, he's got 2 choices at that point. His potentially his future's, well, where's it gone? But, you know, when those stuff happens to you, you either succumb to it and you weep yourself down and land in the pit, or you think, you know, what can be done to fix this? And it was very expensive. The insurance didn't cover it. There's lots of stories that go with that. But what they ultimately had to do was to dig a long rod deep through the side of the path, and they had to get big rocks in a net wire basket to bring in, to give some foundation, to give some substance. And you can sense maybe, you know, where some of this can go, that's what we need in our lives, some substance, because at the end of the day, stuff like this happens to our lives. I know when my dad died, it was like the world fell beneath my feet, and yet God was right underneath there. Sometimes we think we hit rock bottom, but as long as it's rock bottom, and we know what we stand on and the truth we stand in, we're actually okay, because we can come back from that point. And other times in my life, I've had just constant trickles of stuff that have collected all into one negative place, that have just, you know, undermined the place I was at. Just believing little subtle things to be lies, to thinking that you're not loved, you're not worth stuff. And we can really buy into some rubbish, but we have absolutely in all of it got to find the rock underneath it, the rock Christ Jesus, who sets it all right. He is the truth in all of it. You know, and just to surrender to that truth, to know that the price that Stewie had to pay to sort his drive out has been paid for us. You know, Jesus took the rod. He was connected to that cross. He took the spear and everything, and he just did that we might be on a path, that we might stand on that rock. And I just want to finish with this couple of lines of a psalm. This is a psalm that has stood me. It's Psalm 144, and it's in the Message, and it is the truth of my life, and it is, God, you are the bedrock beneath my feet. You are the castle in which I live, and you are my rescuing knight. So whether your life is a fairy tale tonight and everything's going fine, or whether it feels a bit more like a disaster movie, He's there, He's in it, and He's for you.
Trust Him in His presence. To you. Awesome, thanks guys. Haven't we got just an amazing worship team? Honestly, I think what Joel and Danny do to bring out just the best in all these guys, every single person is significant. So, what do we do when we show appreciation for somebody? They're amazing, absolutely amazing. So thank you for all that you do, guys. You're fantastic. Okay, Anth is back on Wednesday, so we will be doing an In Deep / Engage. So do come along to that. That'll be great to see you. For those of you who are new here and are going to be around on Wednesday, we'd love to see you. It's our chance just to take a deeper dive into what God's doing in our life. Just the things that he's speaking out. It's absolutely awesome. It really is. So if you're around, we'd love to see you. So please do come along. The next Pillar Special is the 5th of November. Remember the 5th of November. I'm assuming it's something to do with gunpowder, treason and plot. Is it, Maggie? Hello. Pillar Special? All right, we've got one next week as well. Get in there. So do come along again. Bring your friends. Bring your relatives, bring your grannies, bring everybody. Water baptism. If you would like to be baptised in water, we would absolutely love for that to happen for you. If that's something that you're considering and you'd like to know a little bit more, you need to see Maggie, and she's the gorgeous lady over there. She's the beautiful one. If you go and have a word with Maggie and just talk to her about what that entails, and she can share that with you. Now, a plea from the heart. When you leave on a Saturday night, it would be really, really super helpful and super kind if you could take your rubbish with you. Just things like, you know, any cups that you've used, any crisp papers, any bits, anything at all. It's just so helpful and kind if you can do that. Our cleaning team, and again, let's big up our cleaning team. Look at the size of this place. Every single one of them a volunteer. Angela does an amazing job with that team, but anything that we can do just to give back to them, to help them. And speaking as a mother, please, because you just feel like you're constantly on it. So if you could just be thoughtful, that would be superb. That is it. Danny.
Good evening, everybody. Let's say thanks, Jen. Let's show some appreciation for Jen. We love you, Jen. Jen always puts a smile on your face, doesn't she? It's great. Okay. Lots been said tonight about life can be difficult sometimes. Have we taken the offering yet? Do we need to take it now?
Yes.
Excellent.
God is amazing, and I tell you what I love about this house is that that's not the forefront of our mind, really. It's just that it's the last thing, but you know what? We're going to take it now. God's amazing. Thank you for all you've given.
Definitely. Okay. So stewards, if you're ready, you can do it while we're having a boogie to this song. Now we're going to teach you a little bit of this song because audience participation just makes it more fun, doesn't it? Yes, Danny, it does. Okay, so let's have you on your feet. There's a part in this song, and I say, I've got hope inside my heart. And you go, I've got hope inside my heart. It's really easy. Because of everything you are. Because of everything you are. You've got plans to see me prosper. You've got plans to see me prosper. And that's it. And then there's a couple of other bits where you can repeat what I say. It goes, I've got more than enough to give. I've got more than enough to give. I've got more than enough to live. I've got more than enough to live. We've got more than enough to love one another. More than enough to love one another. More than enough to forgive each other. Yeah, it's easy, isn't it? Okay, have a good time. This is a great song. Have a boogie. Lost all hope and haven't got a clue which way to go. When I don't know what to do, I will look to you. Thank you, well done.
Well, tie my voice in a bow and call me Mildred. Yes, it's me, off the telly, for the Rock Church. Breaking through stereotypical and faith perception boundaries and stigmas. Clearing the way for a 21st century spiritual experience. Communicating life. An ice-breaking event. Every Saturday night at 6:45. I dare you. Striving for effective communication. Non-conventional by design. An evangelical Christian organization. Come and get it.